I do think that the sounds of the digital age have a place in the orchestra. Through my work as a DJ, I've become fascinated by the possibilities of electronic sounds as a kind of new section. And this provides a huge imaginative landscape. The orchestra is the world's greatest synthesizer. You can still produce unbelievably new sounds with this consort of very old instruments. The B-sides lands in 5 surreal landscapes, each kind of imagining a kind of underbelly of the human imagination. The Broom of the System, the first movement, is about a little chimney sweep that kind of dusts the circuit boards of our lives. And that's conjured up by these kind of very high frequency electronica clicks, sort of like the ticking of a future clock, and actual brooms in the orchestra you'll hear. I really wanted to set a spacewalk to music. So I called NASA and left a message saying, if you have any archival recordings of the first American spacewalk, call me back. And they did. So I have these very ecstatic kind of conversations between Ed White and Houston that are set to this kind of ambient score. The final movement of the B-sides is called Warehouse Medicine, and it's an homage to Detroit warehouse parties. And so the sounds from the electronics are quite fittingly the sort of industrial analog sounds of early Detroit techno. You wouldn't think there's anything similar between DJing in a club and writing music for an orchestra. But DJing has taught me something very important. Whenever you have 2 things, like 2 records, you really have 3 things. You have your 2 records and you have the space between them. In my symphonic music, that's become a huge area for development. Between the first movement of a symphony like Liquid Interface to the second movement, blocks of frozen sound that'll kind of dissolve into lots of running watery figuration in the second. And that's really from standing behind the turntables at a DJ booth for 3 hours. Liquid Interface is a water symphony that goes through all of water's forms. Each movement heats up, so you have glaciers calving in the first movement. Then you have a liquid movement after the glaciers melt, scherzo liquido. Pastoral music is maybe one of the oldest kinds of music, music that emulates nature. When you can bring electronic sounds into the concert hall that are emulating natural sounds, it sort of flips everything on its head. So Liquid Interface in a way has a great deal of influence from some of the pastoral music that's kind of made up the symphonic canon, but it enters through the digital sounds of our age.
What I really like about alternative energy is I think it's a combination of the electronic and acoustic sounds. Mason usually writes for a lot of different percussion instruments. He has a nice combination of a lot of traditional, classical, Western instruments, and in this case, some instruments that we had to go forage and find at a car part junkyard. Just like any musician would, we tried out the various resonances, the various attacks, how it would fit into the soundscape he was looking for.
digital age, we're always doing other things while music is playing. The symphonic space is so special, and I think it becomes more valuable the more plugged in we get. I think that heightened listening perspective, when all you're doing is listening to a piece of music, presents many theatrical possibilities. I'm so thankful that Michael Tilson Thomas and the San Francisco Symphony could take this adventure with me, playing my 3 biggest works and recording them in the most exciting way possible.